Has it been exciting to just kind of see some of the hype around and then just sort of the increase in Pac-12 football across the board?
Yeah, anything to promote Pac-12 football I think is a good thing, and obviously there's been a lot of excitement there. I think all that is good for the conference.
I'm just wondering, when you were playing cornerback in the mid-'90s or so, I mean, a guy like Deion Sanders was probably at the top of the league at that time. Was he anybody that you looked up to as a player?
Oh, I remember him as a player. I remember watching him, obviously one of the greatest corners and arguably the greatest that played that position, and deserving of all those accolades as a player. I certainly remember, the different stops and watching the games on TV, yeah.
Coach, obviously, Coach Vrabel was on your staff.
Yeah.
To be a head coach. You poached him, I teased him, you poached him from U of A, got him to come to Cal, he becomes head coach, now comes back to Arizona State. And you just seen his play. What was he like working with him? Obviously, yes, I know you want to beat him, but
yeah.
When you're sitting there across the field from him, what was he like to work with, and then what's it going to be like being across the field?
Yeah, I love Charlie. I've known him a long time, since he was a high school coach, and we pried him away from his I guess home state, so to speak, and he worked with us for a number of years, and it was sad to see him go. Excited for him to get that opportunity, and then I know he's back down and near family and close to home and that type of thing. But yeah, I love him. I mean, I've known him, like I said, a long time. Got a great relationship with him, and yeah, wish him nothing but the best, other than the game when we got to play each other. Yeah.
I know, obviously, NIL has been crazy hot topic from the beginning. Nobody's denying that. And all student athletes across the board would deserve it. But from your standpoint, I think you can go back and change it. But it took long enough in most people's eyes. But do you feel that maybe there should have been more of a committee, whatever, just to have like a national ruling of it, or just understanding of it before turning it into, like a lot of people said, the Wild West, and say, okay, here's your NIL, just go figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to, well, maybe a decade ago, this probably could have started being thought about and maybe organized in a way that once the gates were open, that there was some more structure to it, because it doesn't feel like there's any structure to the NIL environment right now. I'm all for the NIL and the players and student athletes to, monetize their name, image, and likeness. I'm all for that. Probably just, I think everybody would welcome some structure, and maybe if that had been thought about in the last decade, we'd be in a little different place now. But it didn't work that way, and I don't know. There's a lot to it. It's a complex situation, but I would imagine it'll be evolving here every year.
And then the transfer portal as well. Obviously, a lot of coaches have, they're just saying different, all sports across the board. Saying guys leaving up last hour, maybe guys coaching athletes. Coaches could always get their jobs. Players had to sit out a year. Everybody sees the transfer portal as a good idea, but do you feel that you have to go out and recruit players, obviously bring in, but re-recruit your own guys that are there? What's the balance with that?
That's a great question, and I understand, because there is freedom of movement for players that haven't transferred. I think the best way to answer we are going to evaluate everybody in the transfer portal to see if they can help our team, see if they would fit into Cal, see if they fit in with our team, the academics, all of that. We evaluate all of them. When it comes to your own team, to me, for us, our goal is to treat the guys really well, coach them really well, support them, make sure that they have the opportunities that they're looking for, so that you don't reach the end of the season or spring and you're trying to quote unquote re-recruit them. That doesn't seem real genuine to me. To me, we should be recruiting them with how we treat them and coach them every day, and not rely on some meeting at the end of the season to convince them to stay in the program.
How much are you guys home your kind of off-season and transfer portal approach over these last couple off-seasons?
Well, it's like I said, we're going to evaluate everybody, and I wouldn't say we have a target number. I think you got to evaluate your own roster. You're going to evaluate the transfer portal roster and see where your needs are and if those players can fill a need. I think that's how we approach it. So some years there may be more than others, but we're certainly going to be active in it.
What does Patrick add to the secondary? What can he mean to you guys defensively?
Very good football player, as we know. He's played at this level and played very well. He's a really eager young guy. I would expect him to play really good football for us, and he's still got to learn a little bit of the language, but we had some meeting time in June that we're allowed with him, and you can tell the game makes sense to him. He picked it up quickly, and then the physical traits are there. I mean, he's a physical guy. He's got really good feet, so I'm excited about him. I know the guys on the team and the staff are as well.
Getting to know Sam during the spring, obviously there's a clear competitiveness with him.
Yep.
What does adding another player to that mix kind of do for him, and what do you expect out of that competition?
Well, I think the competitiveness will increase everybody's level of play. I mean, that's just human nature. The more competition in the room, the better. And we've talked to the players about this multiple times. My job as the coach, our job as coaches, is to recruit as much talent into the program as humanly possible. And so whether that's at quarterback or defensive line or corner, whatever it is, and then the competition will sort itself out, And I think Sam has a huge upside. He hasn't played a lot of football, but he's very talented. I think he's going to get better and better each and every time he steps on the practice field and each and every time he plays in a game.
How do you feel your team grew from the NFC, but through spring ball?
Yeah.
The guys that came in, the guys that you were able to get to come in, but how did the team grow from
I was really impressed by how quick, with the number of new players, how quick those guys really kind of took to each other. Chemistry is an important part of college football and becoming a team, and I thought they did a really good job getting to know each other. We try to create an environment where they're around each other a lot, but I was pleased with how quick they kind of grew together, and we're going to continue working on that, obviously through summer, fall camp, and through the season. Yeah.
I just caught part of the last question in the room, but it has to be quite a special moment, hearing about the camp that the guys threw for kids of all abilities.
Yeah.
Is that really kind of when it's bigger than ball at the time when you hear about things like that?
Yeah, of course. And as I mentioned, Matt Cindric, he did that on his own. That wasn't some coach or administrator saying, hey, Matt, I think it'd be a really good idea. It would really help your brand if you did this camp. No. Matt did that because he believes in it. It matters to him. And so that's what's, I think, makes you so proud, is because he did that, because that's who Matt is. And there's a lot of guys on the team that do things in the community who've helped people. We've had a number of players who have been through our program that have done incredible things in the community, and it just makes you really proud to be associated with them.
And then last year, obviously the first year where it was just the top two teams, no North and South winner. Kind of mixed reviews in the beginning of the season, but the way it played out, are you a fan of that? Just the top two teams winning it?
I am. Yeah, I just think it makes sense. The two best teams should play for the championship.